Hey guys, I just wanted to get on and give you some information about the trapezoids tonight. And so we're gonna first start with our basic formula. And so our formula is, let me zoom out. Let me get everything right for you. Okay, it's area equals base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do for you is not one that you have to do. You have to do the evens. And so I'm going to look at problem number 1. So problem number 1, we want to identify first the base 1, base 2, and the height. Base 1, we're going to go with 11 plus base 2, 7, times the height, which would be 7, and then all divided by 2. Okay, so coming over to my problem, I did base 1, which was 11, plus 7, which is going to be 18. Now, I can multiply 8 times 7 and then divide it by 2, or I could go ahead and do 18 divided by 2 and get that answer and then multiply by 9. And so so if I did 18, if I did this separately, if I just did, like times the height, which is 7 by itself, and I did 18 divided by 2, that would be 9. And then 9 times 7 would give me my answer. That would be a lot simpler than having to multiply 18 times 7 and then dividing by whatever that number is by 2. And so then we would find that this answer would be 63, and it was feet, and so it would be feet squared. Okay, so that's number 1. What if we did, number 8 looks super interesting. Number 8 says, determine the area of the figure. It is formed by 2 congruent trapezoids. Check those out. You've got 2 congruent trapezoids, and we want to find the area of the figure. Okay, so if the height of this whole thing is 8, what would the height of one trapezoid be? Well, what's half of 8? 4. So that height would be 4 meters. And then this height down here would be 4 meters. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and write my formula. And so I've got area equals base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times the height. I'm going to do it that way. So base 1 was 9, base 2 was 3, and the height was 4. So what's 9 plus 3? Not going to be 12. So we're going to have 12 divided by 2 times 4. What's 12 divided by 2? Well, 12 divided by 2 would be 6, and 6 times 4 is 24. So the area of just one of the trapezoids would be 24 meters squared. So for the whole figure, we would have to double it. So the area of the whole figure would be 24 times 2, which would be 48 meters squared. Simple. Okay, now let's take a look at what's another good one. Let's see. Let's do number 5. Number 5 you didn't have to do, but it has the fractions, the mixed numbers, which tend to bother people. So I'm going to do number 5. I'm going to first write my area, or write my formula. Base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times the height. Okay, so for number 5, base 1 would be 4, base 2 would be 9, and then the height would be 3.5, and then that would be divided by 2. So if you notice on number 5, we do not need that 5 yards right there. That's a leg measurement. We only need the base 1, base 2, and the height that's perpendicular to the base. Okay, so let's go over here and see what we've got. So what's 9 plus 4? That would be 13 divided by 2 times 3.5. Okay, well, what's 13 divided by 2? I know 12 divided by 2 is 6. So 13 divided by 2 must be 6.5. So now we have 6.5 times 3.5. Now you could change both of those to decimals if you wanted to, or you could work those as mixed numbers. I'm going to do mixed numbers. Okay, so 6 times 2 would be 12, plus 1 would be, that would be 13 halves like we had before. We're just going backwards. Okay, and then 3 times 2 would be 6 plus 1 would be 7. 7 halves, right? And so then we could just multiply across 13 times 7. Let's go to this side. 13 times 7, that's going to be 20, that's going to be 91. So we're going to have 91. 2 times 2 would be 4. Now we're going to have to see how many times 4 goes into 91. 4 into 91. Okay, so 4 will go into 9 2 times, which is 8. Bring the 1 down. 4 goes into 11 2 times, which is 8. And we have 3 left over. So our answer would be 22 3/4. Because I don't want to mess with, I mean, you could continue to divide, but why not just put your answer as a mixed number? And that's going to be yards squared. And I just didn't have room to write that label out next to the side, and that's why I wrote it right below it. It's not that it needs to be written below it, it's just that I ran out of space. So anyway, I hope this helps you with the trapezoids, and I will see you guys tomorrow.